Welcome everyone to the Tech Leader Pro podcast. It is week 24, 2023, Friday the 16th of June. You're very welcome. So let's get into it. So this week, I've been thinking a lot about active versus passive online discovery and how we are leaning more towards the passive model these days. So let me explain what this means. So for me, the ultimate goal of the internet is to discover new knowledge and get smarter. It was originally presented as the greatest library in the world, and I still believe in that. At a high level, there are two ways to discover new things online. The first way is active discovery. Here you are searching online for answers on a specific topic, so you're the one that's driving this search. The second way is passive discovery. Here you are not looking for new knowledge, but you are simply browsing, and new content is being recommended to you in your feeds via algorithms. Obviously, active requires effort and passive requires no effort, and human beings naturally will tend towards the easy route, where there is least resistance, which is obviously, in this instance, is going to be passive. So most of the content we consume online now falls into the latter category. We are being fed by algorithms, increasingly developed using AI. If you see the movie WALL-E, I often think about that scene where you see the human beings have become almost like overgrown infants sitting in their chairs, and they're being served by robots, and robots are literally feeding them every single day. They're hopeless without the robots taking care of them. I think sadly we're getting a bit like that when it comes to how we consume content online. We're just being fed by robots. We're just eating it down and reacting in the desired way. Or perhaps not reacting at all. So while this is now considered normal, the original incarnation of the web, often called Web 1.0, was not like that. In those days, social networks did not exist, and the only feeds available were RSS feeds from blogs. So you would literally subscribe to an RSS feed for a blog that you liked, and every time that blog made a new entry, it would appear in your feed. And RSS readers back then were really the main way that people passively consumed content. Other than that, you had to go and find it. So that web user had to go and find content for themselves. Now no work is required if you simply want to be fed. So ask yourself, are you a hunter or are you a consumer? Personally, I would rather hunt for my knowledge. I would rather go and find things out for myself. Without that, you have to ask yourself, where is your agency? By that I mean the ability to think for yourself and to actually seek truth and seek knowledge and not have it spoon-fed. We are now in a very, very, very passive mode in terms of the internet. Even when I do search on Google, the results that I get is actually a feed. It's a feed of ads. It's a feed of recommendations. It's a feed that contains often the opposite of what I'm looking for, because I'm searching for a particular company, for example, and the rivals of that company will pay to get ads into that feed to try to draw you away from what you're actually looking for. That doesn't serve you. That serves the people paying for the ads. So those algorithms are not only trying to feed you with knowledge, but they are also instilling your needs and desires via advertising. They are trying to figure out which emotional buttons they can press to get you to react. Marketers use the term call to action. They want you to act, and they want you to act on the desires that they are instilling in you. This is nothing new. It's just that on the internet, it's become easy. So it is easy for somebody to push something into your feed. It is easy for you to consume it. It is easy for you to react. Again, you have to ask yourself, where is my agency in all of this? When you only know what you are told, you know nothing. It sounds a bit harsh, but by that I mean, if you only know what's being fed to you, how do you know about anything else? Well, you have to find out. You have to put in that effort. You have to switch to active mode. You have to demonstrate your agency. You have to demonstrate your willingness to learn. You have to demonstrate your desire to search, to research, to figure things out, to get it wrong, to break things, to discover. That is how we invent. That is how R&D happens. That is how we innovate. It's not by being passive, it's by being active. As a software engineer by trade, I say to myself, if I'm not happy with the tools that I've got available to me online, I will build my own. I will build my own infrastructure. And that's exactly what I'm doing with my grepper.org project. I want to build tools that break me out of filter bubbles. I want to build tools that enable me to actually find what I'm looking for. I don't want to be fed. I'm not an infant. I'm an adult. I want to go and I want to find knowledge for myself. And I want to discover. And I want to get smarter. And I want to get back to those old days of the internet that I miss so much. And obviously, I'm recommending for you guys to do the same thing. You don't always have to be active, of course. Sometimes you just want to browse. You just want to relax. You want to consume. That's okay. You want to browse through YouTube. You want to browse through Netflix. You want to browse through Twitter. Absolutely fine. Sometimes you just need to switch off your mind. But when you go active, you go all in. And you need to have the tools to be able to do that. And you need to be able to differentiate between this is a feed and this is a source of knowledge. Those two things are often not the same thing. So apart from dwelling on how we find information online, what else am I doing this week? I done some work on 5.today, which is my application for managing your personal productivity, to remove the first name and last name fields from that application. A big part of the reason why that application exists is for privacy. For example, the data that you enter in there, your task list, your journals and so forth, it's encrypted. And it's actually stored in an encrypted way. So it's basically completely secure and it's encrypted using a personalized key. So I thought to myself, well, if I really want to use this in a private way, why do I need to provide my first name and last name? And in fact, the only reason why I put that in the first place was the application sends you agenda emails if you wish to have them sent to you. And rather than it being Dear Member, for example, it would be Dear John in my instance. And that was literally the only place where I was actually using those fields. So I thought, why not just remove them? It's kind of pointless. So now when you go to your settings page on your 5.today account, you will see that the first name and last name fields have actually been removed. They're not there anymore. They didn't really serve a purpose. And it was actually counterintuitive to the stated aim of having something that was basically private. The service doesn't need to know your name. And if it isn't clear so far, I am a major privacy advocate and I really believe in privacy online. Apart from that, in terms of media that I'm enjoying, I'm still enjoying Silo on Apple TV. The episode this week felt like a bit of a gap filler, to be frank. It was a little bit slow. It was more about giving some history and some context, but it was still enjoyable. But I know from having read the book that there's a lot more action to come, and I'm looking forward, without any spoilers of course, I'm looking forward to seeing those milestone events on screen. Should be a lot of fun. Definitely recommend that TV show, guys. It's really good and don't see a lot of noise about it online, which is disappointing because I want to see season 2, and you know how these things go. If there's not enough viewership on the first season, the second season is in doubt. That's exactly what happened to me, for example, with the third season of Raised by Wolves, which I thought was the best science fiction series I've seen in many, many years, probably ever. And because it just simply didn't get enough of a following, after 2 seasons it was cancelled. And it was cancelled on a cliff edge as well, which is they're always the worst. So I'm hoping Silo doesn't suffer the same fate, so please support it. In terms of reading, I'm still reading A Case of Conscience by James Blish. It's very enjoyable. I will give a more in-depth overview of that when I'm actually finished. Okay, so I will leave it there. I wish you a nice weekend. We have very beautiful weather in my country at the moment, so I'm definitely going to get out this weekend and do something in nature. I hope you guys do the same. Go outside, touch some grass, spend some time with family and friends, and have a good one. Talk to you next week. Bye bye.